Before demons, before humanity, and before the world as we know it, there was a being whose name echoed across the highest realms, a being praised for his brilliance, honored for his devotion, and followed by armies of celestial warriors. His name was Azazel. Some ancient traditions call him an angel. Others say he was a powerful spirit made of fire. Some portray him as a teacher of the heavens, and others fear him as one of the earliest forms of the devil. But who or what was Azazel really? Today, we dive deep into one of history's most mysterious figures, a being whose rise and fall shape stories across cultures, religions, and civilizations. This is the forgotten story of Azazel. Before the fall, long before human beings existed, when Earth was still young and the skies were filled with unknown forms of life, there existed a race of ancient beings. According to early traditions, these beings lived somewhere between the heavens and the physical world. They were free, powerful, and capable of immense knowledge. Among them walked Azazel. He wasn't ordinary. He wasn't just another spirit. He was different. Azazel possessed an intensity, a brilliance, and a dedication that made him rise above all others. He spent ages learning, teaching, and guiding. Some legends describe him as a master of celestial knowledge, a being who understood the laws of the stars, the secrets of nature, and the hidden systems of creation. He studied light, he studied fire, he studied the unseen forces that hold the universe together. Over time, his status grew and grew and grew. He became admired by spirits, respected by guardians, and honored even by the highest ranks of celestial beings. Imagine a figure glowing like a star, walking between worlds, radiating wisdom and authority. That was Azazel at the height of his greatness, a leader among celestial beings. As his reputation increased, Azazel took on a new role, leader of celestial forces. Some ancient traditions describe massive battles fought long before humanity. Not battles between humans, but between primordial beings who had fallen into corruption and chaos. Azazel became a commander, guiding celestial warriors to restore balance. He fought for justice. He protected worlds. He crushed forces that threatened to destroy creation. To many, he looked like a hero, a savior, a being of purity and devotion. His knowledge was so deep that even celestial beings came to him to learn. He taught them wisdom, discipline, and the structure of the universe. For countless ages, Azazel walked as one of the most honored beings in existence. But everything changes. When power begins to feel natural, when praise becomes expected, and when a heart starts to believe it is above others. Deep inside Azazel, something subtle began to grow. Not hatred, not evil, just a seed called pride. The prophecy. One day, according to ancient lore, a divine message was revealed, a prophecy inscribed in the hidden realms of creation. It foretold that a powerful being, honored and close to the Creator, would one day fall. He would be cast out, removed from the presence he once enjoyed, rejected. Some spirits read it and trembled. A fall from such heights? Who could it be? They went to Azazel, their leader, their teacher, asking him to pray that the prophecy would never touch them. Azazel listened, but inside he was calm, strangely calm. He believed the prophecy wasn't about him. How could it be? He was the most devoted, the most disciplined, the most admired. Why would he ever fall? This confidence, this certainty, was the first loud echo of the pride growing within him. For a long time, the prophecy remained a mystery, until something new happened, something that changed everything. The new creation. In the ancient narratives, there comes a moment when a brand new creature is announced, something unlike the celestial beings, unlike the spirits of fire, and unlike Azazel himself, a being made from the simplest material of all: earth, clay, dust, a fragile creature with weakness, emotion, curiosity, and desire, but also potential potential so vast that it shocked the celestial realm. The Creator announced that this new being, humans, would be given a role on Earth, a role of responsibility, a role of leadership. And this struck at Azazel's heart. He had commanded heavenly forces. He had defeated ancient corrupt beings. He had risen through devotion and strength. And now, a creature made of dirt would be honored? Azazel was stunned. For the first time, he felt something he had never felt before: insecurity. If humans were given Earth, what would happen to him, to his authority, to his place among the celestial order? Curiosity burned inside him. He approached the new creation, a lifeless human form, and examined it closely. He circled it, studied its structure, entered through the form and observed its inner nature. And what he found troubled him deeply. Humans were fragile, soft, weak, driven by hunger, fear, emotions, and desires. How, he wondered, could such a creature ever be honored above beings of fire and light? At that moment, the seed of pride inside him erupted, the moment of rebellion. When humans were completed and life was breathed into them, a divine command was given, a symbolic recognition of this new creation. All celestial beings obeyed, except one, Azazel. To him, acknowledging this creature felt like an insult, as if all his ages of devotion, leadership, and knowledge meant nothing. He refused. Some versions say he simply stood still. Others say he turned away. A few say he concealed his anger, but the defiance was clear. This moment changed the course of his existence. The once radiant being was now filled with a blazing fire of pride and jealousy. He could not accept a world where humans held honor. He could not accept that a being of clay could surpass a being of fire. He could not accept that his place in the cosmic order was no longer unquestioned. And from that refusal, the fall began. The fall of Azazel. The consequences were immediate. Azazel was cast out of the celestial ranks, stripped of the light he once carried, separated from the honor he had known for ages. The proud general became an outcast. The wise teacher became a warning. The beloved figure became a symbol of rebellion. From this moment onward, he was no longer known by his ancient, honored name. He became the one whispered about in darkness, a figure associated with corruption, temptation, and fear. Across cultures, his image changed. In some stories, he became a demon. In others, a fallen angel. In others still, a deceiving spirit condemned to wander the earth. But in every version, one theme repeats. Azazel fell not because of weakness, but because of pride. The same pride that made him great is the pride that destroyed him. The fall of Azazel. The consequences were immediate. Azazel was cast out of the celestial ranks, stripped of the light he once carried, separated from the honor he had known for ages. The proud general became an outcast. The wise teacher became a warning. The beloved figure became a symbol of rebellion. From this moment onward, he was no longer known by his ancient, honored name. He became the one whispered about in darkness, a figure associated with corruption, temptation, and fear. Across cultures, his image changed. In some stories, he became a demon. In others, a fallen angel. In others still, a deceiving spirit condemned to wander the earth. But in every version, one theme repeats. Azazel fell not because of weakness, but because of pride. The same pride that made him great is the pride that destroyed him. Why Azazel's story still matters. Azazel's story is not just a myth, it's a lesson. A reminder of how easily pride can destroy even the strongest. How knowledge without humility becomes dangerous. How power without self-control becomes corruption. And how jealousy can turn brilliance into darkness. But it also raises a deeper question. Was Azazel truly evil? Or was he a tragic figure? A being who lost everything because he couldn't accept change? Is he a demon, an angel, or something far more complex? Maybe that's why his story survived for thousands of years. Because Azazel represents something inside all of us. The battle between pride and humility, between obedience and rebellion, between light and the darkness that waits when ego takes control. And that is the mysterious, haunting, and powerful story of Azazel. a being remembered across cultures as both an angelic figure and a demonic one, a being who rose to the highest ranks and fell to the deepest shadows. If you enjoyed this cinematic documentary, make sure to subscribe, because there are many more forgotten stories waiting to be uncovered. Until then, stay curious, stay aware, and remember, even the brightest light can become darkness if pride becomes its master.